The Hummer name is back, and this time, it's wrapped in more torque, tech, and testosterone than ever. We're talking about the all-new 2026 Hummer H2. Not the FH1 style sibling from a couple of years back. This is a full-sized, brutalist box on wheels, resurrected for the internal combustion diehards, tuned for real-world trails, and built like an armored assault vehicle that just dropped out of a military catalogue. But it's not just about raw muscle anymore. This beast blends old school attitude with modern-day engineering. And today, we're going to dig deep into this machine, its design, powertrain, suspension, interior, and what it really brings to the table for off-roaders and weekend warriors. And yes, we're going to talk about how it handles when we build it out and take it out for some serious burn. Let's start with the basics. Under the hood, the 2026 H2 doesn't play coy. You get a 6.6-litre Duramax turbo diesel V8, or the optional 6.2-litre supercharged V8 lifted straight out of the Escalade V. That one cranks out a factory-rated 682 horsepower and a monstrous 660 pounds-to-feet of torque. GM clearly knows this isn't about MPG. It's about miles per hour over boulders. The transmission is a 10-speed Hydra-matic automatic, tuned for torque management in low and high-speed crawling, as well as highway cruising. You also get full-time four-wheel drive with a low-range transfer case, electronically controlled locking front and rear differentials, and a central torque-splitting unit that dynamically shifts power based on terrain feedback. In short, it's not your grandpa's suburban Hummer. It's smarter, leaner, and way meaner. Now let's talk suspension, because that's where GM spent some real time listening to the off-road community. The H2 rides on a reworked version of the GM T1XX body-on-frame platform, but now includes independent front and rear suspension with adaptive dampers and Hydra pneumatic height control. It can lift up to 4 inches for rock crawling or drop down for highway travel. You're looking at 37-inch Goodyear Wrangler Territory MTs straight from the factory, with room for 40s once we finish the build. That articulation isn't just for show. It's designed to deliver 13 inches of ground clearance, 34-inch water fording, and approach-departure angles that beat out the Wrangler Rubicon. Breakover angle is strong too, helped by a shorter overhang and beefy skid plates underneath. Let's be honest, no one's buying an H2 because they want subtle. And the exterior design doubles down on that aggression. The 2026 model draws heavily from the original H2, but the lines are more refined. Squared-off fenders, vertically stacked LED lighting, a wide stance, and thankfully no fake effer pretensions. You've got real vents, real heat extraction, and real steel recovery points. And here's the wild part, the buildable modularity of the H2 platform is meant to encourage customization. Roof panels come off. Rear seats can be deleted. Doors are swap ready. The fenders and bumpers are modular. And get this, the rear cargo section is pre-wired for power tools, external battery banks, and refrigeration systems. That's right, GM knows its crowd. You can tailgate or camp off-grid without opening a toolbox. Inside, it's all about rugged luxury. You've got washable floor liners, drain plugs, heavy-duty seat fabrics with heat and ventilation, and an infotainment system that's both wireless CarPlay, Android Auto compatible and off-road telemetry enabled. There's a 12.6-inch center screen, a digital driver display, and dedicated trail camera feeds including front and rear underbody cams with washer systems. But it's not just about looking cool in a parking lot. This thing is actually trail capable in stock form. We took a stock H2 out on a test loop before the build, and here's the verdict. The low-end torque is monstrous. You can idle over rocks in low gear without touching the throttle. The ride is surprisingly plush thanks to the adaptive dampers, and the steering is tighter than expected for a truck this size. The trail cams are genuinely useful, not gimmicks. And you've got control over locking diffs with physical switches, not buried menus. Where it struggles a bit is no surprise its width. At over 86 inches wide, you're not squeezing this thing down tight forest trails without consequences. But that's part of the deal with Hummers. You're not trying to be quiet or polite. You're making a statement, and that statement comes with battle scars. Now, let's get into the build and burn phase, because stock is never the end. For our shop build, we took the H2 and added 40-inch Nitto Trail grapplers, a 4-inch suspension lift via Baja Kits Fox 2.5 adjustable shocks, a custom front bumper with integrated 12,000 pounds winch chase lights, and a roof-mounted light bar, full underbody aluminium skid plating on board, ARB twin compressor snorkel with a high-flow intake system, molten steel beadlocks, and a full rack system with rotor packs, high lift jack, and recovery boards. The goal here wasn't to maul crawl. It was to push the H2 into expedition territory, Baja-style travel and desert reliability. We wanted something you could beat on for 500 miles, wrench on in the field, and still feel proud pulling into camp. After the build, we hit Sand Hollow, Moab, and some remote high-altitude Colorado trails. Here's how it did. Climbing slick rock? No issue. The crawl ratio in low range, paired with that V8 grunt, made throttle modulation easy. With lockers engaged, you could pick lines like a goat on a leash. In soft sand and dunes, the extra flotation from the 40s and wider stance helped a ton. You can air down to 10 pounds per square inch and still hold the line thanks to the beadlocks. The suspension travel was smooth even when we hit whoops and G-outs. The Fox shocks kept it composed. Water crossings? The new snorkel and sealed electronics came in handy. We ran a 34-inch deep crossing, and the H2 never hiccuped. There was zero water intrusion thanks to proper door seals and a sealed battery housing. And when things went sideways, and they always do, the winch and onboard compressor were lifesavers. We used the twin ARB to reseat a bead and the winch to recover another rig that slid into a ditch. The H2 didn't just survive, it led. But it wasn't perfect. Let's talk about pain points. Fuel economy. Don't even ask. With 40s, a lifted body, and a supercharged V8? We averaged around 8 miles per gallon. Yeah? 8. This isn't your daily. It's your adventure toy. Second, the rear visibility is poor even with cameras. You've got massive C-pillars and a tall spare tire. Mirrors help, but backing into tight spots is a two-person job. Third, the weight. This truck tips over 8,000 pounds when fully built. That makes steep descents a little hairier. You need to use engine braking wisely. Fortunately, the transmission and brake system are strong, but you'll feel the momentum on shale and loose rock. Now, let's answer some questions that came from our community. First, can you tow with it after mods? Yes, we tested it pulling a 20-foot overland trailer. The factory-rated tow capacity is 10,000 pounds, and with the right brake controller and airbags, it does the job. Just don't expect to pass anyone going uphill. Second, how does it compare to the Bronco Raptor or TRX? Apples and oranges. The Bronco's nimbler but lacks the payload and power. The TRX is insane in a straight line but doesn't have the same trail gear, no lockers. No real articulation. The H2 is more versatile in overlanding and recovery roles. Third, is this thing worth the price? MSRP starts around $94,000. but fully built, you're looking at $130,000–$150,000 easy. That's steep, but you're getting a rig that can go toe-to-toe with rigs like the Earth Roamer LT or F Prospector at a lower price point. Plus, you're not buying someone else's interpretation. You're building your own. So what's the final verdict? The 2026 Hummer H2 is a brutally capable platform that finally matches its looks with real performance. It's not for everyone. It's not subtle, not cheap, and definitely not green. But for those of us who want to build a machine that laughs at terrain and doesn't ask for permission, it's a serious contender. This thing was made for the ones who drive past the campsite, past the trailhead, and don't stop until the road ends. We'll keep pushing it. Keep building it. Keep burning it through dirt, rock, and snow. Because that's what we do here.